Hey everybody, we're just giving everyone a second to join and then we can get started. Oh yeah, two of our new members are in the audience. So I'm going to Mickey and Brad, I'm going to make you panelists, I think. Okay, great. Um, Brad, do you go by Brad or Bradley?
Brad is fine.
Okay, cool. And then Michael, you go by Mickey. I think so. That's why it's in parentheses. 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we will have 14 um, members this term. That's down one from 15. A couple people are rotating off. That would be David, Matt, and Rebecca. So I thank them for joining when they could join last year. I'm going to share my agenda, and then we're welcoming everybody else back to the committee this year, plus the addition of Brad and Mickey, who signed up to volunteer to be on the committee. So that's great. We could um, maybe very quickly in the appointment of committee members, everyone could just like kind of very briefly introduce themselves for new people's sake. Um, but I'll take the role in a second, but here's our agenda. So appointment of committee members, we're gonna have a discussion with Washington Parks and People about some plans for the 90th anniversary of Meridian Hill and Malcolm X Park. We have a notice of intent from DDOT about a project they're doing. Commissioner Fay um, from LaDroit Park has a request that he would like to talk about with us about a traffic calming study. Zoe, a committee member, wants to talk about public trash cans and what maybe we can do to improve the state of them. And finally, we will end the night with our long awaited ADA parking in residential areas resolution. So now I will take the roll. So I am here. Um, Zoe,
I'm here.
Nick is not here. Johnny said he couldn't make it. Nicole is here. No, Julius, Karen here.
Here.
Good to see you, Angela.
Here, everybody.
Mickey. So you're on camera, but we still can't hear you, or I can't hear you. You look like you're off mute. Well, I can't hear you. I'm gonna count you present while we figure that out.
Sorry about
uh,
that.
oh, that's working.
That work? Oh, perfect. I just got a brand new
I
computer.
hear them.
Great. Good to have you here. Laura told me she couldn't be here. Ben is here. Dion is not here, but she intends she's gonna come back. She's gonna be on the committee this year. Beneve,
Here.
Brad,
Yeah.
here, and then Jay told me he couldn't be here. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 14. That's a quorum, right? Excellent. So 8 out of 15 quorum. So just as my little formality, I would like to move that we adopt the agenda that I presented A second ago?
Seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Great, thanks. Agenda. Okay, so you're officially all appointed to be on the committee for this term, and basically, we meet once a month, typically on Wednesdays. So I had to move it to be Thursday this month because I had a conflict yesterday. But in March, we'll go back to Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And hopefully, I'm working with our admin that helps support the ANC to make sure everyone is updated on the website, names are spelled right, and everyone gets the links. So you should, from now on, hopefully get like an automatic reminder email that you're on the webinar. And if you don't get it next month, just let me know and I'll get it sorted out. And then some of our items, like our third item today, the notice of intent, that's an item that comes to us because DDOT has a project. We want to weigh in on the project. They're soliciting comments. So that's one of our reactive measures. But a lot of the agenda items are just what people want to talk about. So remember, just let me know. Usually I like a week in advance, but it doesn't have to be a week in advance. But just before the meeting, if there's something you want to talk about, let me know and we can get on the agenda and we can work on it. So great. So Steve Coleman is here and he's from Washington Parks and People. So Steve, if you're ready, we can dive in on the park. I see you're here twice, so I'm just gonna pick one of you and hope that's the right one. Did that work? Maybe not. There we go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome to the meeting.
Oh, I have my voice feeding back to me. I hate that. Somehow I'm here twice. Let me re-sign on. I'm sorry, Matthew.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So while he's doing that, to put Mickey or Brad on the spot, if either of you would like to introduce yourselves to the group, this could be a good time for that.
Sure. Now that I've got everything connected, I'll keep it brief. Hi, everybody. Michael Hudson. Everybody calls me Mickey. I just wanted to say thank you, Matthew, for coordinating and letting me join and everything. I'm excited to join y'all and see, how everything works and, how I can play a part.
Great. That's awesome. Do you happen to know, because I like to put this on the agenda and on the website, do you know what SMD you live in? I don't remember.
I should have written it down. I did know, but I'll put that in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. And we'll get it eventually. If you don't get it tonight, it's okay.
Thank you.
Brad, do you want to go real quick?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not camera ready, but
Okay.
I'm also on the zoning committee, so I was interested in joining other committees for ANC1B. I work on Capitol Hill currently, but I'm getting a new job soon where I've done transportation policy federally, so I'm very interested in doing this locally to get more involved. And I'm in 8, I believe.
8. Okay. That's excellent. Thank you both for volunteering. I think we've had a good group the last year, and I think this is going to be a good group this year too. So that's great. Steve, did it work? Are you back? I don't know. We can potentially jump to the NOI because I think the NOI is really simple. So let's do that, and then hopefully Steve figures it out. So like I was saying, an NOI stands for Notice of Intent, and I'm going to share my screen. And They get issued for all sorts of things. Sometimes like we had one last month that was just for like removing a little bit of residential parking near a crosswalk. It could be for a bike lane, like bigger construction, or something like this, which I'll pull up. So there's two cool things actually. Um, One, there's a new NOI site. The old site was quite bad and hard to look up stuff. The new site lets you search by ANC. There's this dashboard. I found it really useful today when I was trying to remember where the NOI was. So if I went to all of DC, you can see there's 39 NOIs across the city for different things. So this one says crosswalk removal and centerline hardening. This is for a bus priority project on Minnesota Avenue. And I think if I reset the map, it would show, I have this selected right now, but if I showed, like if we came in fresh, it would show all of them on the map. But so if I just want to do 1B, you see we have one open, tactical to permanent, 10th and Berry Place Northwest. So the tactical to permanent project is, we had one earlier or like last year on 17th Street where they had some bump outs that were with flex posts that they converted to curbs, like concrete curbs instead. So basically they look where they've done temporary measures with like flex posts or other things like that. And then they are upgrading them to concrete. I have the NOI itself here. And so I don't even think they're removing parking on this one. Typically they would say how many spaces are like the length of curb that's being converted from parking to something else in this list. And here it really just says they're converting the roundabout that's been there. It was a tactical roundabout with just like flex posts and stuff. And I think a lot of people found it kind of confusing. And so they're improving it by making it permanent. So there'll be all these new yield signs, one-way signs. Some of that was already there with the temporary measure, and now it will be like a concrete roundabout with some new medians that will should make it easier and safer for people driving, but also improves these three crossings kind of on the east and south. If we go to Google, this is the satellite imagery is from before they even had the tactical. So that's what it used to look like. It's kind of a confusing, weird shaped intersection. And then if we go to street view, we should be able to see the current tactical condition. Hopefully there's someone walking their dog. Yeah, so this is what's there now. And this image is from August. So, kind of to the west here is where they're going to put those medians. This is going to be like a permanent concrete median. They're going to narrow these lanes permanently and then improve these crossings with concrete and get rid of all the yellow flex posts and have this be, and see here, the signs are knocked down. It's a mess. So hopefully the new project just improves this. So I'd like to hear if anyone has any thoughts or comments or questions, but I feel like it's like a slam dunk letter of support type situation is how it kind of looks to me. Let's stop sharing so I can see all of you.
Yeah, I live about 3 blocks from this, and I just want to say that this circle has been an immense improvement over the mass confusion that we had before. So go traffic circle.
Great, thanks, Ben.
Yes, I've seen the whole metamorphosis as well. When we used to just drive straight through, it's interesting. um, to add on to what Ben said, and Matthew, can you drop the new NOI site in the chat, please? I don't think you. I think you missed my note.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, I'll send it right now. Let's see. Yeah, the new site is much better. It's much easier to find stuff than it used to be before. And I didn't even know that they released it. That was kind of, at least to me, a quiet upgrade. Okay, cool. Any other comments on that one? If not, I would just move that the committee recommends the ANC sends a letter of support.
Second.
Great, thanks. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Chair moves. Nicole seconds. Okay, let's see if Steve is back.
I see his name reappeared.
Hi, you guys.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. I don't know what's wrong with the camera now, but
That's okay.
I'm a park guy, not a tech guy, clearly.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the camera, and if we can hear you fine. So if you
Great.
Yep.
Thank you so much for having me. So when we met last year, the committee was very supportive and encouraged us to come back if we thought we needed more help, and we're at that point. So just by way of background again, Meridian Hill Malcolm X Park is enormously significant. It's ancient sacred ground. It's been a convening point of community, of civic action, of protest, of learning, of the drum circle, and so many other things through the years, going back 15,000 years of human history. It's enormously significant for our city and especially for our community. It's our village green, and it's kind of fitting as the country approaches its anniversary to think about Meridian Hill Malcolm X as kind of the village green for, for the heart of the city in a country that really began on village greens. A lot is happening in the park and a lot isn't happening. The White House has moved $14 million to restore the Cascade. We think that's tied to politics, and there may well be efforts to rename some or all of the park in some way in connection with that. One should probably assume that given other things that are happening. But it means that the heart of the park is shut down for some number of months. They're saying it may be done by May or may not be done until September. The expectation is they'll have it done before the anniversary on July 4th, but it affects the use, it affects the safety, it affects programming and partnership and everything. And in many ways, this big chunk of capital money coming in kind of highlights the ways that the park is really short of operational support, staffing, basic maintenance, programming, not to mention all the improvements and restoration and ways that the park can really be a meaningful hub for our communities and for the city. It has, together with these needs, it has enormous possibilities. As a reminder, this was built as America's first national park for the performing arts, and has just been a place of real history through the ages. Dr. King launched the People's Anti-Poverty Campaign on the hilltop. Pearl Bailey sang at the memorial for him before 20,000 people. It was the wolf trap before there was a wolf trap. And as I said, it just goes back thousands of years. I mean, it's an African American theological seminary, so many different things. And this year is the 90th anniversary of the formal opening of the park in 1936. It was not complete then and was never actually finished because of World War II. So Parks and People and our friends of Meridian Hill program, the program that got the highest honor in the national park system for what we in our community, all of us, did to transform the park and reduce crime there by 95% by lifting up all the positive aspects of community here and diversity and all that good stuff. And so with the 90th anniversary in September, we want to be launching a 10-year campaign to restore and realize the full potential of the park as kind of the mini Central Park, the Village Green for DC. And we want to really have a much more robust partnership with the Park Service. And we want the city to be part of that too, because even though it's officially federal land, as you guys are considering this as a unit of the DC government, we think it's really important that we recognize that the park will not succeed without support from all three legs of the stool, solidly across the community, across the DC government, and across the federal government, not even just the Department of Interior. And if you want to look for a model for that, there's Franklin Square here, but I think there's an even better model potentially at Glen Echo Park, where there's very strong support from the county and the state, together with the community and the Park Service. And so we're launching a whole effort to kind of assess the park. We're doing an initial state of the park report. Alex Casandino is on this in this meeting, and he's helping us to draft that report. And this is going to be a living document. It's not like we're going to do it in a few weeks and then it'll be done. But we will have the initial draft of that to share at the full commission meeting when you guys will be coming again to our Josephine Butler Park Center on March 5th. And with that State of the Park report, we really would like to advance a resolution through ANC 1B to kind of kick this effort off and invite other ANCs, other neighborhood bodies, other agencies, and those that can be part of this partnership to support this idea of really, rededicating ourselves to this amazing hilltop at this moment of the 90th anniversary and looking ahead 10 years. We think it's going to take that kind of all-out effort. And so there are some immediate urgent needs in terms of conditions, in terms of crime and safety, in terms of the issues that I brought up at the full commission meeting with the stuff happening with ICE and the park police in the park. Now we have National Guard sometimes in the park, supposedly 24/7, which is interesting because we have hardly seen them. A lot of different moving pieces, but we really felt like this is the moment we need to come back to you guys and ask for your partnership in moving this forward in this critical year. So that's the pitch.
Great. Yeah. So, what do you think a resolution from the ANC would look like?
I think it should really highlight all the ways that this community created a national model of urban park reclamation, which we've advanced over the past 36 years, and the fact that it won the highest honor. I think that's really important. That we're always in DC. We're often looking a long way away for the answers, when really the best answers are right here, rooted in our communities. So we start with just that track record of all that the community has done to breathe life into the park, to stand up for it, to volunteer. Zoe's on the line here, and she does an amazing job with the really much more holistic in the way she approaches running her volunteer effort than I have ever been. She's got homemade cookies and all that stuff. But it truly has been a really comprehensive effort by the community, and we've never had a partnership that is equivalent to the level of what the community has done. We still have a basic sort of volunteer partnership, and what we're asking for is a kind of a combination of a management partnership, like what you have at Glen Echo and Franklin Square, and a philanthropic partnership, so that we can really bring money in to invest in the park. So it would talk about the track record, it would talk about the urgent needs, and really talk about the possibilities, and how parks are all partnerships. And whether they're good parks or bad parks depends upon whether they're good partnerships or bad ones. And it would really help us enormously as we're doing this work to have the full-throated support of the ANC and saying this is a time to really lift up that model, to be, again, the superintendent of Rock Creek has said he wants Meridian Hill and Rock Creek to be a national model of community engagement. Well, we're ready to start that laboratory tomorrow.
Okay, great. And then, so as far as timeline for resolution, like sooner the better, probably, right? Because we want to have something well in advance of like the fall kickoff. You said fall, right? For the 10-year.
Yeah, and in advance of the anniversary on July 4th, and really with the stuff happening on the Cascade, our concern is we don't want the story about this or the public perception to be that this is something about politicians. We need to really make, and I'm not saying maybe some of you guys are aspiring politicians, but this is about community. This is about people. This is about place. And so we think it's really important, to have the ANC take the lead on this and then have others follow. In order to do that, it would be great if we could have a resolution. I don't know if it's possible, come forward in your March 5th meeting.
Yeah, so we wouldn't this committee wouldn't be able to like look at it, right? Because it was like we could maybe like tonight vote to, if some people wanted to volunteer to like help draft one in advance of the March 5th meeting, like that's what maybe we could do. And if it's ready by March 5th, then the ANC could pass it. But we wouldn't like typically like this committee would like see a full-fledged resolution vote on it
Gotcha.
to the ANC. So, but we could like, if people wanted to volunteer and other people were comfortable with that, we could like draft one and then circulate it, and then the committee wouldn't vote on it officially, but we could send it to the ANC. Karen, I see your hand.
Yes, certainly. Good evening again. I'm Steve. It's always great to see you before the committee, and always. I, of course, am interested in the scope of the volunteer work that you're interested in having from the community, and also the scope of the other add-ins that you want from the community. Some specific bullet points. This would help us, for those of us who are highly interested in helping to carve out a resolution. I think it's really important. I know you gave a beautiful pitch, which is always great, but I think it's really good to have some really key bullet points so that we can use that as a way to draft a potential resolution.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to provide that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'm definitely supportive of the notion, but I want to Karen's point, I want to capture all the things correctly, right? I want to, our resolution should help you as well as we can, right? So there's two options really. One is we kind of just say, kind of like the letter of support for the NOI. We say we're comfortable recommending a resolution with these ideas, and then maybe I get some volunteers to work on it in advance of March 5th to give to the full commission. That's one. Or the other is, if people don't like that, we would work on a draft, bring it back to this committee in March, and then bring it to the full ANC in April. So it would delay it by a month. It just like, I'm fine with either process. Is
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
obviously your call. We'd love it if 1B could be out front. But if we have to delay, then we'll be looking to others, kind of at the same time. But we think it's most fitting if it can happen. And, it would be great to have volunteers working on that. We have a lot of material. We will have even more shortly with the draft report that Alex is working on. And, we're really not talking about anything all that new from the community standpoint, other than empowering the community to have a kind of a equal part of at the table.
right.
We've been doing this for so long, and we have to beg just to be able to remove graffiti.
Yeah, and I think this resolution, also it might be okay to do kind of like I appoint some volunteers that help draft a thing for March, because I don't anticipate that this resolution we would be asking for money or anything like super specific quite yet. It's more like helping kick off the framework that you're talking about.
Yeah, we're not asking the ANC for money, although we have, we do want to bring a proposal for support for programming in the park, as you guys have modeled.
Yeah, and so that that would be probably a separate, more specific resolution for that, which would be cool. Okay, so based off everything that we've talked about tonight. Oh, Dion, hi, I see you joined. Great. Um, uh, do we have anyone who would be interested in drafting a resolution if they got the bullet points?
I would.
So Karen and Angela and Zoe, I saw your hands.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to move that the committee recommends, or the committee approves drafting of a resolution in support of Washington Parks and People's efforts to help the park. It can be nicer than that. And advance to the March 5th ANC meeting, and also appoint Karen Gall, Angela Hatcher, and Zoe Abram to be the drafters.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Great. Well, thanks, Steve. Happy to be included in this. Happy that you came back, and I think hopefully it sounds like good ideas. So hopefully we can get something great out of this.
Cool. Just two quick implementation things on it. One, when you refer to Parks and People, if you could say Parks and People / Friends of Meridian Hill, I think that would be great, because we have a whole idea of really affirming the kind of using the park to bring together all of the communities of this ancient hilltop around Malcolm X Park. And then the other thing is that if anyone, either on the commission or in the meeting, or anyone wants, has things that you want in the draft report, please do reach out to us. You can write to info@washingtonparks.net, because that report is taking shape right now. So things you think are needs in the park that are urgent, things that are good or bad or whatever, we really want, and we will be circulating a wider survey as part of this process. And then eventually there's going to be a whole community-wide planning charrette for the long-term future of the park. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Yep. Same to you all. Bye.
Okay. So before we get to the LaDroit Park traffic calming study, I do want to acknowledge that Commissioner Sycamore has joined, and I think he was joining to talk about the notice of intent, because that's in his district, the 10th Street and Berry Place Northwest notice of intent. Jamie, we did have to move that around. Commissioner Sycamore, we had to move that around because of a technical difficulty with Steve from Washington Parks and People. So we did already discuss it, and we voted to send a letter of support, but I would like to, if you would like to talk or raise anything specifically about it, we can do that right now. Yep. Thanks for joining us, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Oops. Sorry, I'm on the phone and not in the most convenient place, so I
That's okay.
apologize. Don't allow. So yeah, thank you so much, committee, for allowing me to join and just do a quick little comment on this. In general, I'm very supportive of this, but after talking to the community, we just had a couple concerns that I just wanted to bring to your attention. One of them was specifically parking on Florida Avenue, where it kind of cuts right off, and it has that little triangle park right there. If you look at the map, let me just pull that up. Sorry, again, I'm on my phone.
I'll pull it up.
So,
Commissioner.
Okay.
And
So if you can see it, it's Florida Avenue is not the very center bottom one, but the one just to the right of that at the diagonal. A lot of people are very concerned about losing parking there. So if there's can be any reduction in parking issues, because one side is already pretty much consistent with parking, and the other is very limited, and they have to compete people for Whole Foods and people live in these larger apartments. So that was a big concern for people. Concept goes for as far as 10th Street, so the bottom one. If you're looking at that map, that people are a little concerned about that because again, just limited parking
which,
area.
so
Sorry, on 10th Street.
okay, yeah, I do have so in on the plan itself, I don't think any of the no parking signs are changing.
Okay, yeah, because that's not quite clear. It looked like it took away maybe 4 or 5 or 4 or 6 spaces. I wasn't sure, but that was just brought up to me. Just one of the neighbors that were taking a look at it.
Okay.
Um, that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, you go.
Oh, other than that, we wanted to just make sure if they're going to be touching at all on Florida Avenue, that's between the row house and the Whole Foods. So just before it kind of juts off, if there's going to be any sort of barriers there, they want to make sure that there's enough room for people to get in and out of the alleys as well. I know people have been cut off before with new road redesigns from their alleys, and it can make a real mess of things. So they want to make sure that that's going to be a thing. It's not shown on this map, but I just wanted to bring it up. Someone else brought that up. So wanted to look at that. We're actually really excited for, if you look at Florida Avenue continuing on the top left-hand side, we're really happy with all those permanent barriers there. I think that would be great. And then the circle itself, we were looking at it. And one concern someone brought up was if larger 18 wheelers, because we actually do get those through there quite often. The larger 18 wheelers coming through that, and that's why a lot of these posts have been broken and smashed, is because of these big 18 wheelers. So we're not sure how DOI want, or not DOI, DOT wants to address that. Because sometimes we just get these huge 18 wheelers coming through, and you know, hopefully it doesn't hit. I guess we're concerned about the actual width of the circle itself. And then someone else brought up, and I thought it was actually kind of a great idea. If DDOT wanted to make this circle something that would be accessible for art, so like larger statues or larger installations that they could set that. I think it's something that was a great suggestion that could help beautify the neighborhood and make things just a little bit more aesthetic and artsy because we are a U Street, so why not? And I think those are all the notes I have for right now.
Okay. I think so what we kind of just have currently authorized a letter of support without like a ton of specifics. So what I think would be helpful, because what I'm hearing from you is overall support, but with a couple areas of concern or like further questions or like, comments about
Correct.
like, oh, on this leg, what about this? So I think for the March ANC meeting, if you could like put that into a bulleted list,
Yeah.
and send to me, and then we can work that into the letter.
Not a problem. And I also really want to thank you for an email reminder. I've been so busy the past couple of days. I completely slipped my. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I will definitely do that for you.
No problem, because I knew that you were interested in this one. So, but yeah, so send me those. I think that those kind of like vibe with what the committee was talking about. So if you just send up the list, we can
Perfect.
work on getting that into the resolution to send for the March meeting.
The ANC. Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you all so much.
Cool. Thanks, Commissioner. Any
No
other
problem. Have a
questions
great
on that
night.
one from
Oh,
anybody?
sorry.
I don't think so. So,
All right.
yep.
Well, thank you for
Okay.
listening, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Thanks. So now, our other visiting commissioner, he's been very patient. Commissioner Fay. I'm going to promote you to a panelist also. And then some people will remember Commissioner Fay visited previously, I don't know, 4 months ago. When was that? To talk about a traffic change on S Street near LaDroit Park and some concerns from neighbors about that, asking DDOT to come back out and look at some stuff. So I think this is a further evolution of that. So, cool. Well, he's joining. I have a little map I can pull up that Commissioner Fay, sent that I think LaDroit Park Citizens Association has mocked up. Is that correct, Commissioner?
It is. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me back. I'm actually, Matthew, if it's okay, I'm happy to share a different screen quickly just to set the
Sure.
context of
If
the.
you have it set up.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So welcome to everybody who is new to the committee this term or this year. And for those of you who were here last time, some of this sharing is not turned on.
Oh. How do you make co-host, I think? Is that right?
Maybe.
I never know.
Each of the platforms is different.
Did that work?
Yep, it did. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Um, Let me just go here really quickly. Of course, back to the whole idea that each of the platforms is different. You know what? I may actually resort just to the slide that you were going to share. So let me put it up here just so that I've got it, and then I can then speak to it and put it up. All right. Tell me if you're seeing this go into full screen mode.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So last year, April 2025, there was a big project that DDOT did that was called the S Street Redesign Project. And there were a couple of big things that happened with the S Street redesign. The first, let me know if you can see my cursor as it moves across the screen, but you'll see running here at the very bottom on the left, the S Street, which runs east to west. You can see in the middle of the slide, 4th Street running north to south. And the big change that happened as a part of the S Street redesign is that they closed a connector which ran through this now kind of triangle area sits in the middle of Florida, New Jersey, and Rhode Island avenues. And my cursor is not showing up the way that it used to, but it's right where it says United States Postal Service at the bottom of the slide in the middle. What that connector did is it let all the traffic that was going north and south on 4th Street cut across that triangle park to S Street and to New Jersey Avenue, that then allowed the traffic to be able to flow south into the city in the morning and flow north out of the city in the evening. And so what happened is that when they cut that connector off, it redirected traffic through LaDroit Park. So the traffic still comes down 4th Street because 4th Street goes up to North Capitol by the medical centers, captures a lot of traffic, flows it down. And so what happens is that now the traffic flows south into the city. At that stop sign, it goes west or to the left on U Street and T Street, and then south on 5th Street. 5th Street at Florida Avenue was turned into a one-way. And so now traffic can't travel north. All the traffic that comes into the neighborhood goes in here at 6th Street, where you see the El Techo sign. And so what's happened is that the traffic patterns have changed. When I was here last time, and thank you for all the help that you all provided, we were actually raising some concerns to DDOT about how traffic was flowing around that triangle. And since then, DDOT has assigned a traffic engineer. They've done a traffic study. They made a determination that it wasn't just a light timing issue. There was kind of a bigger problem that they needed to solve. And so they have put some resources into better studying it and developing a solution. So thank you for everything that you did to help with that. The reason that I'm here tonight is to put two different resolutions. They're basically the same thing, but they cover kind of the east and the west half of the neighborhood, just to keep it simple. But the thing that I'm asking for your help with this time and the request that we're making of DDOT is to help with traffic calming measures inside the neighborhood. So what used to happen is the traffic would come straight down 4th Street, which is actually set up to accommodate a fairly high volume of traffic. It's a wider street that has a number of speed humps on it. The sidewalks have been narrowed to accommodate a wider street, and so it was kind of designed as one of those urban highways that flowed through the city. Now the traffic is going through the different streets inside the neighborhood. It comes in here north on 6th Street. It cuts across here on T Street. So 100% of the traffic coming into the neighborhood goes this way. A lot of traffic is then heading up 5th Street to reconnect onto 4th Street, so on and so forth. And so none of these streets were designed to handle this volume of traffic. And so people are kind of moving very quickly, higher volume, higher speeds coming through the neighborhood. And so what we're asking for your support on is a resolution that would go to DDOT requesting a traffic safety study. So we don't presume that we would give DDOT the solutions. This is the kind of the input that the community has provided in terms of areas of concern. But this is the scope that we would be asking them to focus on, and specifically looking at the flow of traffic, speed of traffic, and what type of traffic calming measures could be implemented. We're hoping that just some very basic speed humps and two additional stop signs on this side of the neighborhood would solve those problems. But again, we're going to follow their lead. What we want to do is just to invite them into the neighborhood to do those studies. The second slide that I'll share, and then I'll be quiet and field questions. Let me know if you saw the slide change.
Yes.
Okay, so now you get the double lines over here around the circle. Great. Again, because of the closing off of this connector, the WMATA bus that used to come through that connector could no longer get into the neighborhood that way. A series of lighting changes were made just south of this kind of bottom edge of the slide at Florida. That was done to accommodate the bus now traveling through down P Street, up 4th Street, across into to 3rd Street into Lidroit Park. And it's also a way that traffic is able to get into the neighborhood and then continue north out of the city. So again, we've seen the same kind of issues where we've got more traffic moving more quickly. There are no traffic calming measures again here to signal that you're transitioning into a residential area. And so what we're looking for are some traffic calming measures, around the circle to slow things down. And then again, adding a stop sign here at this intersection. The subtle difference that we're asking for is that, and that the committee did a bunch of work on this, is that where you have buses, you cannot put speed humps, but DDOT does allow for speed tables, which provide a more gradual, kind of rise and fall. And so again, we expect that DDOT would come up with the same idea themselves, but we wanted to show that we had done our due diligence and that we were trying our best to be responsive to DDOT standards. So what we're asking for is your support on two resolutions. The first resolution is asking for a traffic safety study over here on the west side of the neighborhood that is based off of the impact from the closure and the conversion of 5th Street to one way. And a second is a traffic study on the east side of the neighborhood that focuses on the 3rd Street speed hump, speed tables, a speed hump here on 2nd Street and the stop sign. But again, we're going to be focusing on a geography. We're going to be asking for a traffic safety study. We will provide this as an attachment just to help DDOT kind of have the benefit of what we have already looked at. But again, we're not asking for these interventions. We know that's not how it works. We're asking for DDOT to come in and do their study and to determine what interventions they would recommend. So let me pause there, see if there are any questions. There's also a member of the LPCA, Julie Earn, who is our LPCA vice president and who did a fair amount of this work, who is in the audience, and so she can answer any questions that I may not be able to. She did text me just to remind me that 3rd Street is a ingress point as well as an egress point. So what's happened is that the traffic no longer flows substantially on 4th Street. It now travels more on 3rd Street on Fifth Street and on Sixth Street. These are all the changes that DDOT told us that we could expect. They also told us that traffic calming would likely be needed. And what we all agreed is that we would wait until we could see what the patterns kind of leveled out as before we asked for any interventions. And so at this point, it's been a year. And so we feel like it's a good time to go back and ask them to come and do their study and determine what interventions are required. Let me pause there.
Great. Thanks, Commissioner. So basically, there are two resolutions separated because of different sides of the neighborhood, but they're kind of substantially similar
Yeah,
in that they're identifying problem spots and requesting studies.
that is correct. And I actually tried to write them with almost exactly the same language,
Yep.
just identifying the different changes that affected the different sides of the neighborhood differently.
Okay. And then, so one thing that I would recommend, you might have already thought of this, is passing the resolutions or the committee hopefully recommending passage of the resolution and sending to the ANC, but then also submitting TSI requests directly
Great.
through the 311. There's the transportation safety investigation 311 type. And I think doing both would just kind of like emphasize it, right?
Yep, that's
They will
perfect.
probably convert these resolutions into TSIs themselves, and it might go into their prioritization model that they do to like see what they can reasonably work on within a given time. But I think if we or someone from LPCA or the community or whatever also submitted the TSIs and then we also did the resolutions, it would just have a little bit of extra oomph.
Yep, that's a great recommendation. I like that. We have 311 experts over here, so I will talk with them about getting that started.
Okay, great. Do we have any questions from the committee? It's fine if we don't. I think it's a pretty straightforward ask. It's people have identified a change that is problematic, um, and just asking for some smart follow up from the city. So, okay, if people don't have questions, then I would just move that we support. Oh, Angela.
Yeah, I was just going to say Commissioner Fay answered my question towards the end of his presentation by saying like the study will recommend, DOT will recommend what they feel is best for that area in the corner, and it's not prescriptive.
Right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I would move to support both resolutions and send them to the ANC for consideration in March.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Great. Thanks everyone, and thanks Commissioner Fay for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you, committee. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Great. Okay, 8. Okay, cool. So this next item is a little potentially more free form. It's like whatever Zoe wants to talk about. I know you sent me an email, kind of just like the trash cans are often in a state of disarray.
Yeah.
What do we do? Who's in charge of them? Is there anything we can do to help? So that's kind of the big pie in the sky, high level.
That is totally exactly. I just wanted to like rant a little bit about trash and sort of pick all of your brains on if there's anything like this committee could do that would be like positive and make things better. Specifically, I have two gripes. The first one is the trash cans that we have in this city now. They're like these, as you're all aware, these like metal striped containers on the outside, and then there's like a plastic bin on the inside, and like the circumference of the like plastic, I think it is, bin is thinner than the outside shell. And so specifically bags of dog poop, once people throw them away, they're falling and getting caught between the metal outside and the plastic inside, and that just seems like an intractable problem that literally never goes away. So I am interested in figuring out like who from the city we can talk to and ask like, is there a reason that it's this format? Is there anything we can do about it? Um, Greater Washington had in their like national links email that they send every week actually had this week an article about trash cans can cost up to $1,000 in cities, and I don't think that that's what we want is like $1,000 really expensive trash can, but I'm just interested in knowing if there's other options than that specific situation. And then in Googling around, I found this website that I just dropped in the chat where you can go, this is for everyone and your neighbors. If you see a trash can that looks like it is really overfilled and really a problem and it's not getting cleaned out, you can report that on this website, um, which basically like 3-on-1 and then they will come change it. But guys, anyone know anything? There's a lot of planners on this call. Do you know anything about trash cans and how we can generally, if there's a better model out there than this type that catches the dog poop?
Yeah, I think I know in the past the ANC has sent letters to either ask for additional trash cans be installed or
Mhm.
ask for specific trash cans to be removed, or a lot of ANCs have also asked for more resources to take better care of them or like
Mhm.
empty them sooner. I don't know if anyone's asked for like a rethinking of the infrastructure, like the type of can,
Totally.
besides like there's like the compactor ones, like downtown, like the solar ones. Sometimes you see.
Mhm.
Um, so it's definitely something that's interesting. DPW, Department of Public Works, they're kind of in their purview to take care of them.
Okay.
Um, so we could try to find, we spend a lot of time interacting with DDOT and a little bit less time interacting with DPW. So it is a good idea to potentially see if their like kind of public outreach person could come to us in the future and kind of give us a
Mhm.
brief on this, kind of how like we've had other guests before. Um, and then yeah, the dog poop bag situation in the city is out of control. I think everyone should take their little bags of dog poop home and put them in their own trash can so I don't have to look at them. But that's a separate, or it's a related issue, I guess. Karen.
I think this is an awesome idea, Zoe. One, I don't think people with dogs or without dogs, wants to see little bags of poop hanging from anything, tree boxes, um, and the trash cans alike. I do know that either last year or year before last, council member Brianna Nadeau had talked about there was supposed to be like some type of the replacement of the inboard one, replacement of some additional, the replacement back of the trash cans that weren't missing. However, I know that in some cities they have like a little special can on the side specifically for dog poop containerizations. So as opposed to modifying the entire can, which I'm sure anybody who just doesn't want to be nice will throw it anywhere and sling it across the street or in the street either. But I think that they have like a special little attachment to the cans, which would not be as expensive, but it could also go into multiple cans. And then I think they may have that same type of thing in dog parks. I'm just assuming, I don't have a dog, so you all can help me out for those of you all who has one. That would basically, hopefully, I pray it could vacuum seal the smell and those dog poop bags inside of but you can hook it to the side of those cans, as well as it gives you the little pull out for the dog poop bags in itself. If they can just resupply it. So I would say if you were making your resolution to ask for a that type of attachment, so they don't have to modify the can itself, which they may assume is a bigger expense. And the mayor herself is a dog lover, so that's a good thing. And then they can have like some little dog bone shaped type dispensers of the trash bags to place on the side. So make it, to make it really pet friendly for each person who wants to utilize it. And then they can have that special sign of "Don't pick up your poop," those things that they have around the city. And put your poop scoop and put your poop inside of this, or whatever they want to put on the side. Something fantastic that I'm sure someone with some great marketing skills can come up to encourage people to put that on the side of the inside of the bin that you're talking about, Zoe. That's my add-in. Thank you.
It's interesting.
Angela?
Yeah, I think Karen raised most of what I was going to say. So I agree the design issue, and we can look at sort of that attachment to the cans and adding bags. And there's also a frequency issue, which is not only are they overflowing with garbage, but if the trash is picked up more frequently, then they may have a chance to pull some of that in between, that gets caught down there. The other thing that Karen was just speaking about was encouragement for the community to just be better stewards of their neighborhood and just to make sure that the poop bags go in the can. I've seen so many people just kind of toss it and kind of walk away, and they sort of know that it landed outside of the can. I don't know what we can do about that part, but just maybe like a PSA or something to just say, hey, like, you make sure it gets in the can, guys.
Yep, great.
I mean, we could do like a LeBron James hook shot type thing to show them how to do it.
Yeah, I like that
it.
idea. I like that.
If anyone wants to film the PSA, maybe you guys could star in it.
Yeah, I'll call some celebrity endorsements for it.
Do you guys feel like there are enough trash cans in our ANC? It's particularly like I don't want to like crowd up sidewalks more, but like I've noticed a lot of litter on 13th Street and there's no real public trash cans on 13th Street.
They've removed quite a few during construction and they never replaced them. And so that would remember what I was speaking about earlier. We had made sure that we spoke to the council member about replacing those trash cans that were secretly removed and never replaced back. So I would encourage you to do a count in order to, and then also survey your neighbors. This is the way that the Community Engagement Committee for the ANC can get involved with doing a survey, asking those type of resource needs. If our chair would recommend that to the, and I would actually ask for us to recommend that to the Community Engagement Committee to ask them in a survey, what do they think those type of resources, whether or not we have enough trash containers, whether we have enough recycling containers, all the stuff that goes into the public space that this committee is about. That's my recommendation. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that idea. There's also so the like GIS link that I sent you guys from the city's website, it has like a map and I can't totally make out if the like if you click on the map, which you don't have to right now, but there's like gray little trash can icons and green little trash can icons. And I think the green ones are ones that exist, and perhaps the gray ones are like the ghost of past trash cans. And so it does seem like there used to be a ton more in our area, and especially along yeah, basically any street that isn't 14th, they're all basically gone.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could have potentially for future items this spring, we could potentially have like a bigger picture resolution that's kind of like, well, how do we have better trash cans or, some of the modifications we were talking about or the education campaign. That could be one, but then there could also be if there are specific blocks or areas that are really like missing trash cans and would benefit from it, we can suggest places
Yeah.
to put them in. So I think those would be potentially two separate things, or, you know, we could have a resolution every month suggesting a new specific trash can location, keep us busy.
Trash can of the month.
Yep. Okay, cool. So I think that I feel like those are some good, maybe we have some good next steps for future meetings, and we can kind of like think about this. It's a good, I'm glad you brought it up. Okay, so that brings us to our final item, Miss Karen's ADA parking in residential areas resolution.
I love how you saved the best for last. That is
Well,
always
I had to, right?
look.
So I'll pull up the resolution. She sent it out, I think, last week.
Yes.
And after, our rounds of edits, and if I have too many tabs open and I
Well,
can't.
first, I want to thank you again, Matthew, for making sure what you did all those excellent edits, and you really strengthened the resolution that was clearly identifying the specific gap with DDOT's current programs and introducing the important distinction of the unassigned ADA spaces on neighborhood streets. I really appreciate that. And the resolution, of course, as you know, it addresses the critical gap that DDOT's current programs doesn't offer, while ensuring that all of the community receives adequate accessibility accommodations. Do you want me to?
You
Um,
you can walk through it if you want.
okay, did you? Okay,
This is
so
this, what I have pulled up is what you sent last
okay,
Thursday.
well, I what I did was I added in what I looked at was what you had presented to us, and then I made sure that some of the real strong points were added, but I also made sure that I kept it brief because you guys know how verbose I can get with my whereas clauses. I made sure that I kept it brief, but it made sure that the very important components that we need were intact. So as it is written, and I pray that each one of you all had a chance to read it and review it. If you have any questions about what you see in front of you, I'm very happy to help add in the detailing. But as is, it's extremely strong. It's really inclusive of our neighbors so that they won't have to go through the circumstances that they have been going through for quite some time. And you know that I'm a huge disability advocate, so I just want you all to know that I have skin in this game. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So, the whereas clauses kind of lay out the issue, kind of summarize the problem, and then the resolve clauses get to the ask. So we're recommending that DDOT establish a program to install unassigned ADA spaces on neighborhood streets. And, currently they have really ADA parking is really only in like private garages, some of the public garages, and then in the paid parking areas and commercial corridors, there aren't really ADA spaces, like signed marked spaces outside of commercial like paid parking areas. So this is asking them to start looking at and establishing some ADA spaces on neighborhood streets, non-commercial. And yeah, as Karen said, the difference from our one before is that was talking about the program that people can apply to have a reserved ADA spot. These spots would be available to anyone who has an ADA placard and meets the conditions for getting that. And so they would be like kind of general purpose ADA spaces is what this program would do. We recommend to use standards from PROAG, which is the Public Right-of-Way Accessibility Guidelines. They're not mandated, but a lot of like some they're like federal guidance that more and more cities are getting are using to make these types of decisions. So we recommend that they use that. It especially comes into play at getting crosswalks and like the ped ramps into compliance. People talk about ProAg a lot with that. This is a recommendation for a percent of the number of spots. Uh, Either 20, one space per 20. Oh, it says residential units. Karen, I think we did talk about this. I missed it. I would have changed it, but I think it's one space, one ADA space per 20 spaces.
Yes, you're correct, and I guess what I was still on my other one that I had.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it when I was copied it over. Okay, so I'm talking about the ratio and then talking about prioritization. So in places lacking off-street parking, multifamily buildings, lacking off-street parking, places with high concentrations of seniors, disabled residents, people with documented accessibility challenges, and then proximity to medical facilities, senior centers, and social services. And then asking for updates, that's kind of maybe wishful thinking, but we can be wishful, we can be hopeful. And
Yes, I was very wishful on that.
yeah, and then Karen has she loves to put this in here, 1B first, prioritize 1B.
Well, did we not just have a long discussion in one of the meetings about making sure that we're clear that we're not paternalizing any other ANCs? We're talking about 1B.
That's true.
And I want to make sure that we're very clear that we're talking about 1B first. Even as Steve mentioned, 1B needs to make sure that it's clear we're working. We should be the stewards. We're the examples for the community. And I really know that this can influence other ANCs, but I really do want to target 1B first. But also, I really want to highlight that I'm very clear about the aging in place population. That's one of the whereas clauses, or was it my resolve clause? One of my clauses that I put in there. It's extremely important that we notate that inclusiveness of this particular program and that we're really thinking about everybody in this. So I hope that each one of our committee members had a chance to take a look at it. And if you all have any questions, I'm open for any questions that you all may have at this time. I love our committee.
Yeah, any questions? Just we kind of mentioned it, Brad and Mickey, but this is a topic we've been talking about for several meetings, probably like 6 meetings. So you're here right at the end, or really the beginning, right? Angela.
Yeah, I must have reviewed an earlier draft of this. Is it true that towards the bottom there was a 120-day time frame for them to report back? Was that taken off, or did I miss that?
I think potentially in an older version,
Okay.
we asked for like a more specific implementation timeline, but
Okay. Sorry.
we kind of we took that out, I think, because it's not
Realistic.
they're just gonna blow past it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'd rather them. I think my perspective on that is I'd rather them get the idea and see what we're thinking, and hopefully, like that gets a hook in, and people take it seriously and don't get caught up in like, oh, we have to do. They're going to be mad if we do this. Don't do this in 30 days because
Totally.
they're not going to do it in 30 days.
And Angela, I had a 90-day, 100, I had a real prescriptive timeline initially. So when he said that we were working at it for quite some time, that's where we came from. So thank you for remembering that. I would love to see them do their job in that manner, but I'm a DC resident. That's not realistic DC processing.
Yep. Okay, cool. If there aren't any further comments or questions, I would like to move that we send the resolution as presented to the ANC for consideration at the March meeting.
And I would like to second it.
Great. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? The resolution passes. Congrats, Karen.
Woohoo!
Send resolution to full ANC March. Okay, well, that was our last agenda item. So unless anyone has anything else, I would like to adjourn the meeting. Great first meeting of the term, everyone. And see you in March. If you think of anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Talk amongst yourselves, brainstorm. The committee is as good as we make it. So,
And
okay.
Matt, can I say 1 second? Because I know Zoe and Angela wants to work on the parks
Oh, yeah, awesome.
resolution, and I want to see if Zoe needs any support for her trash can resolution. You know, could you put that in? Not, you know, send it via email that we can all participate with
Yep.
that, if that's okay with you.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
welcome everyone's ideas on trash.
Thank you.
for the park resolution, I'm gonna send an email connecting the three of you with Steve, just kind of to like kick off, get those bullet points, and
Yes, sir.
then yeah, Zoe, start a trash thread, and we can all talk about
That
it.
sounds perfect. And
Okay, great.
not trash though, not trash, but
Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, have a good night, everyone. See
good
you next week.
night, guys. And thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a nice one.
Thanks, Matt.